I can't believe I'm saying this, but they are 20-point underdogs to Ole Miss. They are 93rd in the country in offensive points per game. They are 132nd in the country in yards per play. They are 122nd in the country in yards per rush. They are 124th in the country in yards per pass. And their sack rate is now 11.62%, which is 131st in the country. Let's get to the good side of the ball for them, which is the defense. 34th in the country at 21.3 points per game. 4.6 yards per play allowed, that is 15th. 2.9 yards per rush, which is 7th. 7.6 yards per pass, which is 83rd. Sack percentage is 11.26, which is 5th in the country. Now let's get to Ole Miss. 35.7 points per game, 19th in the country. 7 yards per play, which are 7.1 yards per play, which is 7th in the country. 4.9 yards per rush, 30th in the country. 10.3 yards per pass, that is 4th in the country. Sack percentage given up 7.18%, so 85th in the country. Points per game allowed on defense is 4th at 12.3. Yards per play allowed on defense is 4.1. Yards per rush allowed on defense is 2.1. That is still first in the country, and I expect him to stay that this week as Oklahoma, not good at rushing the football. 6.2 yards per pass, 25th in the country, and a sack percentage of 8.1%, which is 23rd in the country. I'll start out on this one. I think it's pretty simple. If Ole Miss can keep Jackson Dart clean in this game, they are going to mollywop the shit out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma's weakness is their secondary. They have a good pass rush, but if Jackson Dart can stay clean with the weapons he has, and I believe Trey Harris will be back in this game, will he not?
I do believe he should be back.
Yeah, then I'm going to take Ole Miss to cover this. I'm not going to say it's going to be 30 points, but I'm going to get up there. I'm going to say Ole Miss wins this game 45 to 20. I can't believe I shouldn't even give Oklahoma that many points, but I'm going to be kind here. So I would go over. I'm going to take Ole Miss. I just can't believe Oklahoma's favored or getting 20 points. I never thought I'd see that. I've never seen this in my lifetime. They've been one of the 2 or 3 most consistent programs over the history of college football. It's them, Ohio State, and then throw in someone. I don't even know, but it's them and Ohio State have been the 2 most consistent programs. So I'm going to take Ole Miss here to cover this spread, and I'm going over here. What about you, Tyler?
Yeah, I like this is tough this is a tough situation for Oklahoma. They get into their gritty and nail biting type of situations here with your schedules as you play at Ole Miss, you play at LSU later in the year, Alabama, at Missouri. Here we go, and then you have Maine sandwiched in between those games. So shout out to Maine there, but. With Ole Miss, it's just been a disappointing start. They finally have a bye week, and with scheduling with Ole Miss, I don't know what they were thinking. 8 weeks into the season, then you get your bye week, then you get a second bye week coming up. That's neither here nor there. I want to see Ole Miss respond. What I saw in last 2 weeks ago, press conference was, a lot of defeat, and this is make or break now. How does Lane Kiffin respond after 2 really bad losses? I think he's going to go out and just try to beat Oklahoma as big and as much as he can. I think Ole Miss is going to be able to throw the football, like you said, but I do think the rushing game is going to be there. Not a lot of teams can slow down Ole Miss's rush game. I think Kentucky may have held them to 100 yards, but that's pretty much it. Even in the LSU game, Ole Miss was able to run for 200 yards. Bentley had over 100 yards. He had a touchdown. Henry Parrish I don't think he had that much success or as good as success as Bentley there. But there hasn't really been a team that's been shutting down Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost the game to Kentucky on a fluke. You can make a case that the LSU game was a fluke as well. I like Ole Miss here. How big? Definitely more than 20. I think Ole Miss comes out here and just throttles Oklahoma. It's a noon game. Oklahoma just had an embarrassment, whatever you want to call that. That wasn't football for Oklahoma. That was just embarrassing at home, 35-9, getting down 32-3 at one point, but 21-0 in 4 minutes of play. Come on. That's just embarrassing. Jackson Arnold's not going to be able to do much here. I don't know if they're going to play QB hokey pokey, whatever you want to do there. I like Ole Miss here. I like the Rebels. Probably something. This is gonna be Oklahoma's worst loss, in my opinion. I think it's gonna be 45-7.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see that. I was being kind with the 20 points. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Jackson Arnold's going to throw you a couple balls. You just got to catch him. Like he turns the ball over, man. So it's going to get ugly. I just don't see the only way I see it not getting ugly. Jackson Dart is prone to an interception or two, so we'll see if that happens. If they can get after him, because that is the weakness of Ole Miss. Their offensive line isn't great, and Oklahoma does have a good front seven. The back four isn't great, but the front seven is good. But it's just not enough. And I think what you see is what you saw in the Texas game. Those guys felt a lot of pressure to make plays, so the tackling broke down because they were just trying to make plays and turn the ball over. And I think you're going to see that a lot in this game as well. So we're both on Ole Miss to cover, and we're both taking the over here.